The Minecraft 1.17 Caves and Cliffs very first snapshot just dropped, adding not all, but some pretty major upcoming features for us to trial out before this summer. Considering the recent attention this channel has received from my Minecraft videos, I figured it'd be worth a shot checking this thing out and relaying back to you guys some of the cooler features and mechanics you may have missed or not yet heard about in Snapshot 20w45a. Welcome back to Kweebec Corner. My name is Connor and today we talk about the newest Minecraft snapshot. Here's the deal, I talk about Minecraft a bit more and you guys check out my hightail content. Deal? Deal. Also, maybe consider subscribing if you like both. 95% of people who watched last month didn't, so if you are unsure, I hope you enjoy this one and click that button. Since Minecraft Beta first started doing pre-releases, creators have been rushing to cover the latest features and changes, build suggestions with new blocks, the latest possible farming methods for mobs. And so when I saw this one drop, I thought let's sit back and give it a play, really scratch my head and discover some of the interesting secrets and tidbits that others may have missed in the hurry. Now, I love Minecraft and block games in general, if you couldn't tell. I like discussing the impact certain blocks and items can have on the game. For example, one of the biggest things that Minecraft players have been asking for the longest time is a feature similar to Optifine's zoom. With the Spyglass, players thought, yes, finally, there's a chance, but with all the previews, we've seen this weird black ring around the crosshair. But luckily, what you may not have realized is that you can actually select F1, which regularly removes your UI, and now you have yourself a full screen zoom function, fit with the sound effect and all. I think this is a pretty good balance. We have a way to see things with a limited scope, making the Spyglass less OP in vanilla, whilst also providing players in creative a new option for cinematic filming. Sometimes I try out the Elytra to get cool shots, and combined with the Spyglass, it actually felt pretty legit. Although I think the Spyglass could do with having notches, allowing you to change the zoom amount back and forth. Pardon the pun, by the way. With smoother camera movements, I'm sure players could get some fantastic looking angles with this sort of stuff. In F5, your player also holds up the glass to their face. While far and few between, besides scoping out nearby structures, you can also use the Spyglass to better spot the Nether Fortress, as that's always been a bit of a pain to find. The Spyglass may also come in handy during PvP when you need to get the drop on a distant enemy. Last but not least, I tried swapping the hand I was using the Spyglass with to see if I could aim a bow at the same time. It didn't really work, but then I tried out the crossbow. Funnily enough, after recording, I actually saw someone on Reddit had tried out the same thing. You can kinda sort of aim and do a bit of a no-scope. I actually got a bit carried away trying to do this, so thanks Mojang for all of you guys in the comments. Now, if you'll recall, last week I mentioned I really hope they actually give copper some uses, or at least some different block types, and honestly, I for one think, Yep, so it seems like they've added a crazy big palette of copper blocks, and honestly, I dig it. It'll take around 50 to 82 days in a loaded chunk for copper blocks to oxidize just one stage. I'm not sure what affects this time, or if it's just random, but considered they are named weathered copper blocks, I think the actual weather should determine the length, such as rain and snow causing quicker transitions, or lack thereof reducing the speed. Mining the ore and smelting them into bars, 9 making a copper block, and 4 copper blocks making cut copper. This means there's oxidation stages for not just copper blocks and cut copper blocks, but also cut copper slabs and stairs too. Beyond this, there's also a waxed version of all of these, finally giving honey another use, stopping the oxidation process completely. Personally, I'm really glad this is a feature. It means you could technically combine regular cut copper and waxed cut copper in a single build, so that particular patterns you've created specifically will age over time, with no need to bet on random chance. This would be a really awesome gag to set up at your friend's house about 100 days before Halloween in-game. Not sure how you'd measure that, but it'd be pretty funny if your friend thought that all the copper was waxed and suddenly it started rotting. P.S. No, you cannot use copper blocks to power a beacon. Yet. Oh, and, fun fact, copper blocks also make very subtle clanking noises when you jump on them, similar to how the new amethyst blocks function. Speaking of which, amethyst geodes will now spawn in overworld caves and be encased in a layer of tuff and calcite, 2 new ground-based blocks. Calcite is actually a component of limestone and marble, so that may also hint to us 2 more potential new blocks. Tuff also appears around volcanic activity, so perhaps geodes will soon be configured to spawn more around lava caves or something. For that one, we'll have to see. Either way, these blocks make an awesome little tune, and I'm sure someone out there will combine this with note blocks eventually. The lightning rod works pretty much as anyone else would describe to you, a 4x16 block radius which will be protected from lightning as soon as you place it down, channeling it into the rod. And because I got bored of waiting for a natural strike, I ended up testing channeling tridents. They They worked. And the rod makes a cool noise when struck. Also, literally moments later, lightning struck right next to me and summoned a skeleton horse trap. Candles are not just black and white, there's more to them than meets the eye, because they have colours, and colours are cool. Want to match a candle to a bedsheet? Just don't light the bedsheet with the candle. The way these things cluster together is great, it even provides 4 different lighting levels to allow for some ambient mood settings. But unfortunately, you can't combine colours, and with 17 colours to mess with, it can end up taking a lot of space up before you decide which one you want. I actually made a summoning circle for some reason. Yeah, let's ignore that. Candles are crafted with honeycomb and string, then you can dye them. Candles currently burn infinitely, but maybe it should be a temporary thing? That would mean you need to get more wax to top it up, but that could probably get old pretty quickly, I guess, so I don't know. Another reason to go back to those bees though, right? I tested, and currently candles cannot be lit by a fire charge, by lightning, or by blazes rampantly shooting towards me stood on top of it. But I'm sure Mojang will fix that little error. At the moment, rain will also not put candles out, and water kinda works, but also not really. See, water is always a super tricky thing to get right, and it might not always be a priority when getting a snapshot out. However, I was upset by the fact that you can put lava into a cauldron, but rain doesn't turn it into cobble. Or obsidian. In fact, switching the liquids does nothing either. If you want my opinion, honestly I think the rapid expansion from the combination of liquids should cause the metal to snap and explode. Anyone? No one? Okay, rails are now also supposed to work underwater, by the way, and they do, although there are also some issues when preventing waterlogging, and that also includes lava. Mobs can still be placed in the cart though, so yay! Villager pool party, woo! Bundles have been added, and I'll have to say, while at first I did think they were revolutionary, now I think they're maybe just a bit more of a gimmick. Like, I'll definitely use them in my world, but the fact that their mechanics work around stacks is a bit off-putting. Sure, there's the argument that vanilla still needs to remain a little bit tough, but you can only stack stackable items, which means no bags of armor, no pre-prepared gear sets. Maybe it was just me that was getting excited about that, and in all fairness, maybe something that only takes string and rabbit hide to craft shouldn't be that OP. On the other hand, I still think while combining different items into a stack will save a lot of time, the clickiness of the whole thing is still hard to figure out. You have to right-click to get something in, and then right-click to unpack everything. There's no way to unpack one item at a time, you can't open a new interface to show what's in the bundle. Even if you add the bundle to a chest and unpack it, all the items just auto-stack into your inventory, not the chest. So I think a little bit more work needs to be done here before it's a ready feature, I think. I did mention that there are plenty of builders out there that love seeing new ways to bring stuff to life. Other than that copper trick from earlier and the candles, maybe try out lightning rods combined with end rods. Maybe even a lightning rod facing downwards above a lava cauldron, looking like heated iron. Shout out to Reddit user Minister Van Havo for that one. Speaking of end rods, you can combine it with a candle for an extension. What about ancient copper statues thanks to these new oxidized states? New tinted glass is also possible thanks to amethysts, hopefully coming in more colours eventually. This is the first transparent block that also blocks out light. I'm sure there's hundreds of uses for this, but just off the bat, I think it'd be cool if you could have a completely transparent mob spawning room. No one gets pitch black inside despite it being daytime, and you being able to see in. Copper ore and vines can also be combined to make flowery walls. Shout out to Lone Whistler 97 on the Reddit for that idea. Waxed lightly weathered cut copper stairs is also the official new longest name in the game. Congratulations, I guess. And last but not least, of course the most important feature of all, fish can now travel in minecarts. That is provided they're underwater, of course. We've got to make room for some minor bug fixes and tweaks now and then, of course. Firework rockets are finally searchable in the recipe book. Being an elytra flyer, I've been waiting a long time for that one. Minecarts slow down when moving in water. Experience orbs should now bulk up when close together to avoid lag. Tinted glass can be broken by hand and won't smash like regular glass. Paths can now be made on any variant of grass. You can put candles on cake. And for some bizarre but totally cool reason, shulkers shooting one another now has a chance to cause a clone of the exact same colour. Huh. Finally, renewability. Maybe this mechanic can also be explored a little bit more sometime. Maybe making an evil clone of yourself, maybe summoning Herobrine, I don't know, maybe... One thing's for sure, this method will definitely help get more shulker boxes, that is if you're not using bundles. Like, seriously, who doesn't use bundles at this point? Get with the times, noob. Finally, one more thing you may have missed is that a different set of 1.17 features have already been released in a beta for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Likely, this is an attempt to not only reach parity faster, but allow different user pools to test different parts of the update at the same time. An interesting approach to say the least, but for now, if you want goats and snowier snow, Bedrock version you'll require. From what I can see, goats are pretty self-explanatory, and snowier snow makes you sink like quicksand and even provides a chilly new hood effect. Leather boots can also be used to negate the effects, although you'll be endangering your feet from the swinging of a deadly netherite axe. If you enjoyed this snapshot style video, then great, that's awesome. Give it a like or do a spin or something. If you didn't, well, first of all, don't worry, it's not that common of an occurrence, I promise. And also, don't just tell me, let me know why. What do you want to see? I aim to improve as much as possible, and the only way I can do that is by creating the content that you guys want. And again, to you Minecrafters, you should definitely consider sticking around for Hightail. Seriously, it's gonna be huge, and there's so many awesome updates coming real soon. Subscribe for Hightail. As it happens, if you want to join a community of Minecraft and Hightail enthusiasts such as yourself, then make sure to join the Kweebec Corner Discord server, link in the description.